granniopteryx, granniopteryx. She knows the truth, she's linking every link.
Hello. There is more than one way to communicate. I'm sure that there are a lot of people who prefer to watch somebody talking than just to hear them talking, because the face makes a difference in communication. And when you are a medical practitioner and you're trying to find out what's wrong with somebody, then seeing them is probably a lot more efficient than just listening to them. And that was the situation that Dr. Keith Wolverson found himself in when one day during surgery he was confronted by a woman who was wearing a full veil over her face, and she was talking to him about the sick child that she had brought into the office. Yeah, I made a video about this when the case came up in 2018. I made 2 videos actually, and I'll leave links to both of them in the description. Just as seeing somebody's face may give you clues about other things going on, non-spoken things, so seeing somebody's face may tell you other aspects of this person's private life. For instance, the niqab tends to hide evidence of marital violence. When a woman is wearing a veil, you can't see if she's been knocked about a bit. And if the woman's knocked about a bit, then there's a good chance that the child might be knocked about a bit as well. So when you're trying to diagnose what's wrong with a child, it's sort of important to see the condition of the mother as well. In this case, Dr. Keith Wolverson asked the woman to remove her niqab so he could see her face, and he said it was because he couldn't understand what she was saying. He said her English wasn't good, and it made it more difficult when the niqab was slightly muffling her voice as well. It says here, Dr. Keith Wolverson was struck off in April 2026, not just for the niqab incident, but for a combination of serious misconduct, dishonesty, and a flagrant disregard for medical regulation. I'll get to the medical regulation. Yeah, he did disregard that. He asked the patient, according to the Medical Practitioners Tribunal Service, he asked the patient to remove her niqab 3 times, despite her repeated objections on religious grounds. The tribunal ruled this was inconsiderate and failed to respect her dignity and privacy. There is no dignity and privacy in medical practice. I have had male doctors looking up my nether regions, and it's not something I generally like men to look at, but there you are. This is a medical matter. All bets are off. So there's absolutely no dignity and privacy in keeping a niqab on when there's a doctor trying to diagnose things that might be wrong. Dishonest justification, it says here. Dr. Wolverson claimed he needed to see her mouth movements because her English was poor and he couldn't understand her. The tribunal found this was dishonest, noting the patient actually spoke good English and had no trouble being understood during the hearing. So the woman was at the hearing wearing a niqab and speaking perfect English. Might it have occurred to the people at the tribunal that this was not the same woman that Dr. Wolverson had seen in his office? Is that possible? Well, when a woman is wearing a full face veil, yes, it is possible. And if she was at the tribunal wearing a niqab, wearing a face veil, then the tribunal was wrong because they don't know who she was. And they certainly don't know if the woman that Dr. Wolverson saw wasn't a second wife, because that happens too. And then it says the Niqab incident was part of a wider pattern. He was found to have made deplorable and inappropriate comments in the medical records of 15 other patients, criticising their English skills in a way that was deemed disrespectful and unfair. Unfair. The cry of a spoilt child in the playground. A medical tribunal was using the word unfair. Look, if Dr. Wolverson was saying that a patient was speaking very bad English, that was his right. Was he saying that they thereby did not deserve medical attention? I don't think so. Not what they've said there. Just that he was disrespectful. Like, I don't know what he said, but, disrespectful could be anything from this person needs to be immolated because they don't speak good English to, this person doesn't speak English very well. This is giving me headaches. He made disrespectful comments about their English. Maybe not very nice. Maybe he was just losing his patience. While the Niqab incident led to his initial 9-month suspension, so a working doctor in an NHS that admits it's short of doctors, he was suspended, so I suppose that means he was getting basic salary anyway, but unable to work. While the Niqab incident led to his initial 9-month suspension in 2022, his permanent removal from the register was triggered by a decision to continue working 17 times while suspended and his subsequent disengagement from the disciplinary process. He said that he misunderstood the terms of his suspension. That is, he thought that while he was appealing, he could work. Look, I don't know whether he really thought that or whether he just wanted to do what he was good at. But you can discipline somebody for that, but you don't strike them off unless you are determined to get at them. Of course, any medical practitioner now who cannot understand a patient will now feel unable to ask her to remove her face covering. And things are going to get missed, especially abuse. But the medical council, or what do they call it, medical practitioners tribunal service, don't seem to be too bothered about that. Now, Rupert Lowe said, that this wouldn't happen in a Britain governed by Restore Britain because the Niqab would be illegal. Yeah. I don't know whether Restore Britain could ever govern Britain, whether it would ever get big enough. But certainly any Western country should not allow anyone to go around with face coverings in that, at least in that sort of situation. It says here, despite suspensions in 2022 and 2024, he worked as a locum 17 times without informing employers and provided no evidence of remediation or insight. That is, he didn't grovel. He was probably not acting 100% according to the book, but I should think he was pretty well fed up of the GMC and the tribunals and all the rest of it. I can imagine he was really sick of their attitudes, and the attitude that is most likely embodied in this little piece of deathless prose here. He was inconsiderate and failed to respect her dignity and privacy. He wasn't being inconsiderate. Actually, he was being very considerate. He was doing what a good doctor should do, which is not to tick boxes, but to treat human beings. Obviously, the tribunal isn't that interested in human beings. Okay, till next time. You can help my channel by subscribing and clicking the notification bell. That's quite important. And by sharing if you're so inclined. Links to my other channels and to donation methods are in the description. But the best way you can help is simply by clicking like and notify. Thank you.